Hello, Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to another installment in this series, Sefer Jonah, verse by verse, select commentaries. This week we're doing Jonah, chapter 1, verse 6. Again, this series is a companion series to my other series, Sefer Jonah, verse by verse. That series is exclusive to my patrons over on Patreon. In that series, I go through each verse of Jonah, and I explain the grammar as we go, all the points. That series is really meant for people who have studied a textbook, have been through a textbook, and are looking to actually have some practical experience going through a book of the Bible. So I'm trying to bridge that gap between actually the sort of textbook mode of learning and actually being able to interact with the text itself. If you're interested in that series, all you have to do is become a patron over on Patreon. Support at any level will gain you access to that series. That's with as little as $1 a month. If you find this series or any of my other series to be of benefit, I wish you would consider subscribing to this channel. If you want to have updates, please click the bell icon. Okay, this week we're doing Jonah 1:6 with the commentary of the Chida. Okay, so a little bit about the Chida. The Chida, his name is Chaim Yosef David Azulai. The name Chida is just an abbreviation, an acronym of the initials from his name. His years are 1724 through 1st of March 1806. He comes from a long line of Moroccan rabbis. He himself was born in Jerusalem. He is famous primarily as a traveler. For a person during that period, travel around the world was not so common, but he traveled all throughout Europe, all throughout the Jewish world at the time, meeting with various rabbis, various communities. His main function was to collect funds for the community in Israel. He was a known bibliophile. So everywhere he went, he collected books, or he described the manuscripts that he found. So a lot of what we know, considering the lineage of certain books, or the location of certain manuscripts at certain times, are from his writings. He also has a book, a rather famous book, called Shem HaGadolim, the Name of the Greats, in which he discusses the various authors within the realm of Jewish scholarship, starting from the very beginning, coming up to his day. He gives short biographies and lists of the books that were written. Pre-internet age, this was a primary source, a somewhat of a desk reference to access to the world of Jewish books. Also, he was a writer, a prolific writer. He wrote extensively in all areas of Jewish scholarship. We will be considering his writings on the Bible, on Scripture, tonight. Okay, here's a picture of the Chida. I don't know the provenance of this picture, but he definitely is a rather distinguished-looking fellow. Assuming this is a accurate rendering. He traveled throughout Europe in this traditional sort of Oriental garb that non-Ashkenazic Jews wore in those days, and this was he was quite a sensation both amongst Jews and amongst non-Jews to see this exotic Oriental traveler going to far-flung places like Poland and places that you didn't usually see these kind of people. So he was quite famous in his day. Okay, let's look at the verse. Let's do the verse a couple times. V'yikrav elav Rav HaChovel, v'yomer lo, malacha nirdam, kum kra el Elohecha, ulai yitashet ha'Elohim lanu, v'lo noved. One more time. V'yikrav elav Rav HaChovel, v'yomer lo, ma lecha nirdam, kum kara el Elohecha, ulai yitashet ha-Elohim lanu v'lo noved. Okay, translate. V'yikrav elav, and drew near to him, to Jonah, Rav HaChovel, the captain of the crew. V'yomer lo, and he said to him, Ma lecha nirdam, how or why are you slumbering like this? Right? Remember, the ship is about to be lost, and he's snoozing down below. So the captain's coming there. What's going on with you? So he says in an imperative, Kum, get up. Kura el Elohecha, call out to your God. Ulai yitashet ha-Elohim. Perhaps the God will take notice of us. Lanu, us. Take notice of us. V'lo noved, and we won't be lost. Okay, so the Chida is going to comment. Now note that the Chida has an eclectic style. He certainly was a top-notch scholar of his day, but his writing style is a little eclectic. It can be a little convoluted, but nevertheless, it's good to have exposure. Okay, he's commenting on the part of the verse, Malacha nirdam, why are you slumbering? Kum kara el Elohecha, get up and go call out to your God. So he says like this, Yesh mi shapirish the shapirish, there are those that explain, B'masha omrim chachmei hateva, according to that which the chachmei hateva, the sages of nature, meaning scientists, really you'll see what he's talking about here is he's talking about astrologers. Okay, the world for centuries believed in astrology. Even within Jewish circles, there were those that were partial to the notion of astrology. There were those who were very against it. The Rambam, for instance, the Maimonides, was very against the notion of astrology. But nevertheless, whether or not astrology is a real thing, we have rabbinic statement that there is no such thing as a constellation or mazel that is over Israel, that Israel is not under any general influence. Israel is under the direct hand of God. So whatever happens is not just happenstance, it is, or fate is whatever God wills to happen to Israel. Okay, so he's quoting, he says, there are those that explain according to what these astrologers say. And then he kind of breaks off. He says, just kind of explain the scenario. He says, Ki tzara haba la'adam. When some sort of awful thing occurs to a person, v'yesh makom l'chashov, and there is a place, or there's room to think about it, l'natzel, to save oneself, yeah, v'leyimalit, and to flee. In that case, lo yonum v'lo yishon. The person is not going yinum v'lo yishon. The person is not going to sleep. He slumber and he's not going to sleep. Right? When the person has the ability to save themselves from a situation, he's going to run as fast as he can. V'halach b'tzaros ayamochom azar b'tzaros. He's going to go. He's going to go quickly to whatever place in which he can find help for his particular trouble. So if a person has access to the means of fixing up their situation, he's going to flee and go in that direction. Okay, he says further, however, kishelo yesh metzius hatzalah, there's no existence or no possibility of being saved. Az tabo lo tirdma. Then comes upon this person tirdma, which literally means slumber, but he's saying it in a way of depression, right? People come resolved to their fate. It's almost like they're sleeping. They don't even try anymore to save themselves. They resolve themselves that it's fated, that this is going to be this awful thing, and it may kill them, but this is fate, and it can't be changed. So people, they get comfortable with that idea. They become depressed. He says, "V'zehu b'goyim," and this is by the nations. Asher heim tachas hamazal. So according to the astrologers who say that the various nations, both individuals and nations, are influenced by the constellations, a sense of resignation to one's fate can come upon them because they whatever is fated to be is going to be. Yeah, why? Umazlo mechayev, because the constellation caused this thing to be obligated. He caused the event to be a fixed point, a fixed thing that can't be changed. He ain't matzel, because there's no salvation from it. Or, if it's fixed, if it's fate, how can one save himself? And in that case, with Shaykh Tirdma. In that case, the whole issue of Tirdma, of sort of this depressed resignation becomes not logical, but it becomes a reality. People, if you can't get out of this, then that's the way it is. However, but Israel, she'enam tachas hamazal, is not under any constellation, because Israel is under the hand of God, according to rabbinic thinking. But tefillah, he says, in that case, tefillah v'tza'acha mo'ilim. He says, davening, tefillah, prayer, v'tza'acha, calling out to God, mo'ilim. Those things help. Lo tevo tirdma. And in such a case, then there's no room, no place that tirdma, this sort of depressed resignation, will come upon you. V'zeh she'amar, and this is what the captain is saying. He's saying, what's going on? Shi'ata, why? Why is he asking? Shi'ata Yisrael, you're an Israelite. Nirdam, why are you, as an Israelite, how do you have room to have this depression come upon you? Right? Rather, get up. Call out to your God. Why? The tshuva, that repentance, the tefillah, and davening, prayer, mivatlin hagazera, they will cancel out the gezerah. Okay, so in this piece, he's not necessarily expressing or espousing a belief in astrology, although I think it's probably fair to assume, considering his background, that the Chida probably did believe in some elements of astrology. However, he's saying that this was the current belief, and the sailors, they called out to their gods, and from the previous verses, they called out to their gods, and it wasn't stopping. So they become resolved to themselves that this is what must be. This must be fate. However, the captain noticed that the Israelite aboard was not calling out to his God. So he's saying, look, we accept our fate if that's fate. Nevertheless, you call out to your God because perhaps in doing so you'll save all of us. So anyway, that's what's going on in this verse. I think it's probably fairly spot on. Not necessarily with the astrology, but in the background of what's really going on in the story. I do think that at this point, everybody on the boat is pretty much resolved that they're going to die. And then, lo and behold, Jonah doesn't seem to be worried at all, or he doesn't seem to be troubling himself. He seems to be resolved to his fate in a way that before the others were. So there's something different about Jonah. So the captain is saying, look, go do your share, get up and pray. Anyway, it's an interesting point. I hope you enjoyed Okay, kol tuv, hatzlacha rava, keep learning.